So today made my night just a night in the kitchen, enjoying making a bunch of things to keep on the routine of keeping living foods growing around the house, because if that's not part of your lifestyle, then you're never going to have really fresh stuff to eat, and you're always going to be getting processed things and things that have just been sitting in stores for so long. So anyways, I just ended up spending quite a few hours today just playing around doing those kinds of things, and I just wanted to show a little bit of kind of like what I do, and I keep going and rotating just to kind of maintain part of that whole foods, living foods kind of lifestyle. There you go. So like here, this is my crock pot, and inside I have coconut water that's fermenting inside these two bottles here. All I did was use the young coconuts. I transferred the water into the containers and filtered it, and then I just put in some starter cultures. And some of the, I mean, you can use anything for starter culture. Even if you have a probiotic supplement, you could use that. So my freezer, I tend to use a little bit of Donna Gates body ecology stuff, which I have to keep inside the freezer so that the microbes basically are prolonged and they don't die. So there's like a little bit of the powder. I put that into the coconut water in addition to this other one. So it's basically a probiotic supplement. And these make excellent starters, and you can just kind of play with different cultures as you go so that you can get greater diversity of bugs inside your microbiome. So anyways, yeah, I think I've done a video on this actually of how to culture this stuff, but I just keep it going every few days because I only drink about maybe like 2 ounces a day, so it takes a while to go through it, and then I just leave a little bit left over in the end, and I use that also to help starter for the next batch. And this is just a blend of awesomeness. I was thinking of what to do with the young coconuts, so because I also made nut milks, I'm making like a little ingredient batch here, and this I'm gonna add to make a dehydrated cracker, but it's so good as it is. I wanted to share this recipe with you guys so that you could just use this as like a dessert on its own, or a cream for something as a part of another dessert. Tastes so good. I wrote down what the ingredients were. The flesh of 2 young coconuts, 1 medjool date, the skin zest of 3 lemons, or rather a dash of ground allspice. Make sure that's all grounded before you put it in the blender. A sprinkle of cardamom, also ground, and coconut water, just enough to actually achieve a blend. And Vitamix will do a really good job with this. And what I'm going to do, carry it over to my other batch of stuff, which is nut grinds. Nut grinds. Why do I have nut grinds? Because earlier I was making a nut milk with different things. What's in here is pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, a little bit of Brazil nuts. That's it. And I left them soaking for 24 hours, changed the water of course, and then I grinded them in the Soya Bella nut milk maker, which is a fun little handy gadget. And you get this homemade nut milk, or mostly seed milk. But there you go. Got a nice glass container, and this will last between me and my mom probably like 3 days, hopefully. So yeah, I do this process about every 3 days. And if I have young coconuts, I use that as part of the base. If I don't, then I put in some coconut cream instead. So yeah, for this, I'm just basically gonna add the mixture of the Vitamix in with the nut grinds. Oh yeah, there was also peanut butter in here. That's one thing I forgot to mention. Organic peanut butter. And that mixed together with this, I'm going to then put it on a dehydrator sheet and make some amazing tasty crackers. I basically added all that stuff together, stirred it nicely, and it tastes so good. Next step, we pour the batter onto the Teflex sheet that goes onto the dehydrator. You may want to use 2 dehydrator sheets. It will take less time to dehydrate. Make sure everything is nice and flat. Place tray in dehydrator, close, and let go for about 24 hours, rotating halfway through when you peel off the sheet. Yeah, the other thing is the lemons. So after you skin the lemons, with one of these fine, beautiful graters, guys simply must invest in one of these. When you use this kind of device, it just creates hairs out of the lemon skin, and it's such an awesome way to add the lemon skin zest to foods. Anyways, so when you guys do this with lemons, you can use quite a bit of the zest. So I'll do a bunch of lemons and then just, you know, juice these guys and keep them in a mason jar or a glass container like this, and just keep it in your fridge so that you have some fresh lemon juice that's going to last you for, you know, maybe like 5 days or so in the fridge. And you can just add like a little bit each morning to hot lemon water, to hot water, to make hot lemon water. A little bit of cayenne pepper, sea salt, berry powder, like whatever else you want to make your elixir out of. Right now I'm also enjoying adding this. I go into my repertoire of things is this. I'm trying out the Bulletproof Brain Octane. So I actually add a little bit of this to my morning elixir as well. Just like not even a tablespoon to start. The thing about the Brain Octane is that it's palm and coconut oils. I think it's like 8 and 10 chain carbon lengths of the medium chain triglycerides that are in here, and it's more concentrated than normal MTCs that are in stores. So I'm trying this out to kind of like prolong energy throughout the day without feeling like I need to go for more meals, which means that this is very supportive to ketogenic style diets, no carbohydrate, minimal carbohydrates, more paleo style, I suppose you might say. So trying this out should be fun. Yeah, so that's like a really good way to feel in the morning. Really curbs appetite, I find, and it tastes amazing. You can make your own elixirs in the morning. You don't need to go for a coffee, and you can use tea bases. Lots of cool ways to do this stuff. So yeah, definitely get on that. Another cool thing that I always keep going is one of these, and this is a water distiller. So every day, almost pretty much every day, I fill up this tank with fresh water from the tap, and it takes about less than 4 hours. I get double this amount. This is 2 quarts that fits in here. I get this, so I get 4 quarts out of this, and then I use that to store onto bigger glasses of water, like this one here, which is where I keep another one ready to go. So I'm always have the water cycle through, and I don't have to worry about running out or doing too much all at once, and that works nice. Yeah, the reason why we use the distilled water is because tap water sucks. It's full of poison, and right now going to a spring just isn't accessible, and this is also neutral in pH as opposed to reverse osmosis water, which is very acidic. So I like the feel of this one better. One other thing I do after I get the water out is I do run it through a bitter filter. Not to clean anything because it's already clean. It's just to give it a little bit of life back into the water by letting it run through something minerally. And then after that, I also add to my drinking water minerals as well. I have my own salt solution that I make, which I leave back here. I'm gonna have to make some more soon. That lasts a very, very long time. And then I just put it into this Myron glass dropper bottle and put about like 5 drops of this into a glass of water. And the magnesium concentrates also is another thing I like to use a lot for people who endure a lot of stress. Magnesium is just simply a must. And so I use a full dropper of this in a glass of water. And sometimes I also add in a little something potassium-y, which I have like in a powder here as well. And the other daily addition is vitamin D3. And this I use, well, every 5 milliliters is 2,000 I use. So right now I pretty much do this 3 times a day for at least 6,000 I use. I should probably do more. So that goes in my daily drinking water as well. Yeah, this is just like some of my stuff in my apothecary. Everyone should have an apothecary. If you don't, you need to get me over there to start you one. The other cool thing I got going is my Fresh Life 3000 machine here. This thing, I only got one of the partitions going on right now, but I love that these things actually sprout amazing hydroponically on this machine. These ones are mung beans, and I've done speckled peas, regular peas, sunflower seeds, all sorts of things actually grow really, really well. And I mean, you can harvest them when they're pretty small, but I just let these guys like grow so much more. And then when I harvest these tomorrow, this has been about like maybe 5 days of growth. It's pretty good. And you can use this in smoothies or you can just like gently soak them in hot water or steam them very gently just to make them easier for the fiber to be digested through your system. And or you can just eat them straight if you're that daring. I think I would marinate them first though. So it's beautiful to have stuff growing in your kitchen. Highly recommend that. Now this, many of you may recognize, it's really gained a lot of popularity in modern culture, and it is kombucha. What you're seeing there, that really kind of funky, nasty looking thing, is the SCOBY. And it's essentially the fungi that lives synergistically with a plethora of bacterial cultures. And this, over a period of at least 10 days, when you leave this brewing and just add a little bit of sugar, I mean, you can find so many recipes for doing this stuff online, makes another very healthy probiotic drink. Now, this is not for everybody. Some people have adverse reactions to this, but generally it is good for most people, at least for a time. And it's one of the things that I brew regularly. Even though it takes 10 days to brew, it may take me a week, 2 weeks to get through the batch, which I'll store in a glass container like this. And it's safe to leave the SCOBY in some of the original mother solution, and it's going to last for quite a little while. So even if you don't want to do a new batch every 10 days or 15 days or however strong you want to make this, then it's fine. You can just leave it hanging around, cover it with a paper bag or something to keep it away from light. And just the container top, I use like a cheese strainer cloth with a rubber band, that way nothing actually goes in, and it still allows for a little bit of aeration. So this is another really easy, straightforward way to get some probiotics in your day-to-day life, and it's easy to do. And one of the cool things as well about it is that you can brew teas of whatever flavors you like and then make the kombucha out of that. So it's a very versatile drink that you can use for yourself, to serve for friends, when you have get-togethers and whatnot. Give it a try. And I have so many SCOBYs. These things reproduce on like a weekly basis that I'm always looking for people to give them out to. I almost kind of feel bad throwing them out. So if you need a SCOBY or you'd like one and you live locally in my area, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to give you one. And 24 hours later, what you get comes up these nice, crispy little cracker-like things that are quite yummy. I probably would have added more lemon skin zest. It would have given more of a impactful flavor, but they're still really good. And why I find having stuff around like this is so important is because when you're on the go or in a quick rush or you need a snack or something to include part of a meal, it's nice to have things that are already done for you that are healthful. And if you have any particular emotional issues or challenges with food, then if you're going to snack out and binge out on something, it's always better to have something that is nourishing for the body ultimately, as opposed to something that's completely processed and devoid of any life sustenance. So that's that. I also just thought I'd show some other little things that are good to have on the go, because again, that can really help you with sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And you know, these are really simple things every day that you can have going, is the soaking of nuts and seeds. If you have them on a regular basis soaking, then you always have fresh stuff that's ready to use for your meals. So this here, I'm just going to be using a combination of sunflower seeds, cashews, and almonds for making a nut milk. And over here, I have soaked and I soaked these for over 12 hours, the Brazil nuts and almonds that I'm going to put in the dehydrator, so that when they're fully dehydrated, they, without any moisture being there and having already been sprouted, then they become a lot more healthful, and you can just store them even at room temperature, or if you're going to store them for a very long time, then you can leave them in your fridge. But again, it makes for another one of those snacks that's just ready to access, and it's going to be much more nourishing than going to something in a box or a can. So that's that. And also these guys are a little bit more involved, takes a lot more time, but I always have a batch of sauerkraut or kimchi going. So, you know, these things are not hard to do. You just have to, a food processor helps, so you don't even need one though, just to have the things broken up nicely, you get a good surface area. And I've had this now fermenting for probably a month and a half, and it stays just fine. In fact, the longer it ferments, the more beautiful and impactful the taste becomes, and more probiotics are going to be active. So this is something, you know, I use probably about a tablespoon of this every day. I add it to a meal, And I keep that portion that I'm regularly accessing in the fridge, and then I have my reserve here so that I can refill the can that I keep in the fridge. You just have to make sure that you keep enough liquid in here so that you don't get any fungus developing, and so far I haven't had any issues with that, so it's great. It tastes amazing too. So there you go, guys, some lifestyle hacks. I hope that you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, you'd like to see any videos or anything specific, how to make, how to do, that'd be awesome. Meanwhile, I'm gonna enjoy these beautiful coconut lemon nut grind crackers. They're so good. Alright guys, enjoy your healthy kitchen preparations.